There's been some interesting things going on with Red Hat and CentOS. We'll have a little bit of a chat about that, I think. Before we get into that, you may have noticed that there was no video last week. What can I tell you? We had a week from hell. Some of you may or may not know that we have a disabled daughter. She's coming up 13 next month, and in her head, mentality-wise, she's still under 1 year old. She has no communication apart from grunts and pushing and absolute meltdowns. It was very, very hard last week, to the point where we felt that we couldn't do anything. So we didn't. I didn't. And I'll be honest, I had a few people that I kind of lent on, and I just want to give them a thanks before we move on. So first of all, there's my wife, first and foremost. If she doesn't encourage me, I don't really do anything. She is the driving force behind everything I do. She is just, it's a cliche that gets tossed around way too much, but she is my rock. And without her, I'm nothing. I know that. So love, thank you so much. There's nothing else I can say. Words don't do it justice. And then we come to RoboNoogie, who, when he heard that I was struggling with my mental health, and that's what it was, he jumped straight to me to make sure I was all right and to offer guidance, and any advice that he had, he passed on to me. And I was so touched, I really was. And I've been in tears a lot last week. I can feel myself welling up now, so I'm not going to go on about it too much. But RoboNoogie, I consider you a friend. I know we've never met. We've only talked online, but you know what? That's just as real as anything to me. I'm not one of these people that goes out a lot. My social life really sort of involves going shopping and getting food and seeing the family. That's pretty much it. And a few conversations online with a few people. So thank you. You really did give me so much strength. I'll probably never be able to repay you. All I can tell you is that if you ever need me, I'm here. And I mean that. Anyway, on with today's topic, now that we've got all that out of the way. Red Hat, what's been going on? Shall we have a look? So I'm kind of sort of following on from what Jeff Geerling said. Geerling guy, I'll link his channel in the description. He's somebody that I follow and I've got a huge admiration for. What he does, the way he does it, and with his own personal demons, I'm full of admiration for that. He does a lot of developing for the open source community. He does a lot of Ansible stuff. He does a lot of Raspberry Pi stuff and small form factor PCs like that. And he put it so right. He's mentioned that Red Hat has killed CentOS 2 years ago, which they did, which is a shame because CentOS was one of the better Linux distributions, if you ask me. We saw a lot of web servers running that. But Red Hat decided they wanted to label everybody that doesn't contribute back to their project as freeloaders. That's fine. If they want to do that, they can do that. That is their prerogative, but it is not a way of keeping a user base, regardless of whether they're contributing to the project or not, in my opinion. So why did they do this? Now, clearly, the Red Hat project, they want to earn money. Again, no problem with that. You know, the GPL license allows for that. But they published a blog post explaining what they're doing. I don't know, it just feels like the days of Red Hat are coming to an end. I certainly won't use RHEL. I've got no need to. But why would they put their open source behind a paywall? And that's the crux of the matter. That's what they're doing. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. For a project that, as far as I'm concerned, want input, getting rid of your user base is not the way to do it. Putting it behind a paywall doesn't make sense to me. So what's going on? I can only assume that there's been some changes behind the scenes and maybe there's somebody else running Red Hat now. But what does this mean for Fedora? I don't know. They haven't mentioned anything. All they've mentioned is CentOS. And the CentOS was, well, it was the free version of RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, or thereabouts. And then they've got the community version of Linux, which is Fedora. What is interesting to me is there's pretty much no mention of Red Hat on their website, apart from Fedora is sponsored by Red Hat, and a link. Yeah, it screams messy to me. I just don't really understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, and what's coming next. But I don't know where they're going. And of course, there's always Ansible as well, which is an IBM project, and Red Hat is an IBM project, I believe. Yeah, IBM acquired Red Hat for approximately $34 billion in 2019. So if they've killed off CentOS, however you want to say it, one of the more stable Linux distributions for running a web server on the internet, in my opinion, you don't get much more stable than FreeBSD for a web server. I think it is absolutely perfect for that. And if I was to set up a web server, that would be my go-to. I would go straight FreeBSD every single time. If FreeBSD wasn't available, I'd probably have gone for CentOS. I first started my journey in open source using Red Hat. Red Hat 7.1, I think it was, way back. Might even have been 6.2 or 3, I don't know. It was a long time ago. So I've kind of followed what's been going on with Red Hat all these years, just out of pure interest. I just don't understand where they're going. I don't understand why you would want to alienate your user base. Freeloaders. They're not freeloaders. They're users. They're people who want to use your product. People who will spread the word of your product. People who will tell everybody about it if it's good. If it's not good, they're not going to tell anyone, and they shut up. But these kind of shenanigans, and make no mistake, this is just, it's not a good way forward. I don't know. I just don't quite understand why they're doing this. I'm a bit lost for words because like I said, I started my open source journey on Red Hat Linux, and I've followed it to see where they're going as they were industry leading. I don't think they will be for much longer. I honestly think that this is going to cause them a lot of problems. There are a lot of companies out there that put their products behind a paywall. That's great, fine. I'm all for making a living. If that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. But doing that on the back of an open source, disappointing is what it is. I don't understand the full ins and outs. I fully admit to that. And I probably never will, because they probably won't put the full ins and outs published. Again, that's down to them. That is up to them. It is their prerogative. I just can't see them coming back from this. Yes, they'll always have their enterprise user base because that's been paid for a long time. We get that. That's fine. But to actively encourage normal users to sign up for a developer account just so they can get the free licenses to run enterprise Linux, which allows you to run, what do they call it? CentOS Stream. It makes no sense to me. You know, somebody who's turned away from Windows doesn't want to then go and find something else to pay for. They want something that's flexible, free, and if they want extra support, then fine, pay for it. That's just common practice, and that makes sense. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, it's one of those things that maybe doesn't really concern the FreeBSD community, but maybe it does. Most people consider Apple to be leading the field in what they do. You know, they get rid of something on an iPhone, everybody else follows suit. Is that the kind of thing that's going to happen here? Red Hat does something the rest of the open source community follows? I hope not. It certainly would spell the end of a lot of things, and that would just, it wouldn't be right. I hope that's not the case. I really hope that Red Hat can sort this out, and really what they need to do is bring back CentOS, pure and simple. Let me know what you think, people. Stick some comments in the comments section below. That sounds really weird. Stick some comments in the comments section. Bung some comments down below, because I'm interested on your thoughts on this. It's a bit of a strange one, because I just don't understand it. And if any of you guys have got some insight or some inside knowledge, I'd love to hear it. This is kind of a follow-up for what was going on with Linux, so it's changing again. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Sorry I've been away. I'm sorry about that, and I'm back again now, hopefully feeling better. Thank you to Robo Noogie and my wife. You guys are just amazing, and the rest of the community that's following me. It's just amazing now. We are now at 3,000 subscribers. It's just incredible. Never thought I'd get here. Anyway, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up if you like the video. If you don't, the other one works too. Don't forget to subscribe. Discord link in there. Again, nobody's mentioned anything about keeping Discord going, so I'm going to keep it going for now. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.